Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second lecture of the year, and it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Professor Sheen Dae-Cheol from the Academy of Korean Studies. He has, as the notice that you might have received at the entrance says, he has spent his whole life teaching and studying Korean traditional music, and he's held quite a few important positions, and he was one of the co-founders of the ICTM study group, Musical East Asia, still a board member and program committee member of that, and he is currently president of the Korean Musicological Society. He's published books and articles. He started life as a choir boy, so it's a pleasure to welcome Professor Sheen. Can you welcome him?
Thank you very much for your introduction to me. I think she knows me better than I do. But originally my voice was very sweet and very mellow, but at the moment I got a very bad cold, but getting better now. But still my voice, my tone color is hoarse. Is very sorry for that. Is it okay? Is it beautiful voice? Thank you very much for your invitation. Without his invitation, I could not meet all of you. And the first time I met Royal Asiatic Society Korea branch was about 30 years ago. At the time, I was a grad student. You know, the very famous Korean musicologist, Dr. Lee, is really very famous. He was my supervisor of PhD. At the time, asked me to go to RAS KB. At the time, I was very nervous and scared because of my poor English, still poor, but I was very lucky enough at the time. I met a very beautiful young Korean lady at the office of the RASKB. If my memory were exact, I think the office of the RASKB was at the Christian building, Jeongak was right. Yes. Because of a meeting her, I perfectly could do my professor's attitude, what I to do. So, but anyway, my karma with the LSKB was started from about 30 years ago. Now, I would like to talk about common dynamic to different aesthetic aspects of Korean traditional music. But before introducing this aesthetic characteristic, I would like to clarification of Korean traditional music. As you all know, broadly Korean traditional music can be classified as Jeongak and Minsogak. Jeongak means literary writing music, or sometimes it means classical music. It includes court literary music. During the Joseon dynasty, there were many kinds of court ritual and many court ritual music, but at the moment only two are remained: royal shrine music, Confucian shrine music. As you all know, there are many kinds of court party in the Joseon dynasty for birthdays or the wedding ceremonies of the royal family, and the sending and accepting envoys. And the royal processional music was also there for king, queen consort, crown prince. Sometimes Dae-Cheol is a kind of royal processional music, but the Dae-Cheol was a royal processional music. But since the 18th century, before that, Dae-Cheol was known, not in Korean Peninsula. After 18th century, the Dae-Cheol started with the literati music. As you all know, Korean literati scholars like to play music, especially Komungo, 6-string guitar, because of the Korean scholars like to compute. Computers like to play Chinese jing, so Korean scholars thought of Korean Komungo is like Chinese jing. Nowadays, some vocal music and instrumental music were made. Next, the Minsogak means, as you know, folk music, all kind of folk music. Nowadays, instrumental folk music, you know, Sheen, Sanjo, Jeongak, etc. And the vocal music, pansori, jappa, folk, shaman song, etc. And you can make some pictures of folk music. This is a picture for photo party of the 19th century. Maybe king made around here. Here are musicians. Very beautiful, isn't it? No? This is court musicians on the terrace. And the court musician in the courtyard. Court musicians for the royal procession here. The musicians. Maybe king or queen made around here. And after the king, also another kind of this processional orchestra located here. For king, 2 processional orchestra. For queen, only 1. For king here, for king here and here. Enlargement of the court musicians. This one, singer. This is the director. We have a very funny story on director. You know, in Korean traditional music, especially in court music, the director is blue dress, struck this clap, we call it bar. One time, the music starts, and at the end of the music, 3 times. So, you know, after the music concert, some kinds of guarantee will be get, you know, but only if he earn money from that performance, about $4,000, about, in the case, one tip, $1,000. But the musicians on the stage, you know, the diagram player very busy, you know, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent, 5 cent, and they can play. And this director, it's very funny story on Korean music, and this is the military band music. She was now we call it Dae-Cheol, but nowadays the dress of Dae-Cheol is yellow. This is the Literati music, 18th century. You can see the gong here. Literati enjoying music on the pine trees, late 18th century. You can see here. This was painted by famous Korean painter Kim Hong-do. His Bipa, Saemang. This was painted by another famous painter Sheen. From here, Hagen. This was also painted by Kim Hong-do. Samyeon means 6 players, 1 Hagen, 1 Dae-Cheol, 2 P, 1 Jango, 1 drum. This was painted by Jangdan and 19th century. We call this instrumentation Samanyuka accompanied this shoulder dance. As you know, title of the working and Samanyuka late 90s is the same paper. Also, Samanyuka accompanied this title of working. 모흥과 판소리 virtuosity from complete map of Pyongyang Castle 19th century here, very famous pansori singer. This is the Dae-Cheol river. This was also painted by same painter, Kim Jong-un. Pansori singer here and drum. Also painted by same painter. Pansori singer here, drama, and audience. Also painted by same painter. Shaman dancing here, and company, shaman dance. Korean court music has been transmitted until now by this kind of notation we call Jeongak scale notation. The first half of the 15th century, this was invented by very famous Korean king. The most famous Korean king is who? Sejong the Great. Sejong the Great invented the Korean alphabet or the Korean musical notation, and he composed also. This piece was composed by him. Also, he was very good at painting also. I think he was a real genius, but I'm not. The second half of the 15th century, Jeongak, this was made by Sejong's son, Sejong. He improved his father's scale notation from here to here, all 32 scales. The red letter means octave below. But Sejong reduced 32 scales to 16 scales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 16, right? It is very interesting. Some music starts from here, and sometimes some music starts from here, or sometimes some music starts here. But at the moment, Korean scholars could not solve why different starting of music. I don't know if you find the rule of interpreting the rule. In the case, I can give you a kind of doctoral degree. Anyone wants to solve the problem? No? Oh, sorry. 18th century. 18th century around the King Yeongjo period. Musical notation for the literati music, the 16th century, a little different from the court music notation. This was made in 1592. The music from started here. This was made in 1610. This was made in around mid-19th century. Early 20th century. Nowadays, we use this stuff. since the second half of the 20th century. For literati music or for folk music, all the same scale notation now we use it. And before we are going into the common dynamic power in Korean music, you should know some characteristics and beauties of Korean traditional music. The Korean traditional music is based on monophony, only one melody, all performed in unison or sung in unison. But sometimes Korean musicians made heterophony. Let's try the heterophony. I will sing first. Please repeat. Oh, not good. Once again. Okay. You are very shy. Now you sing like this. I will make some kind of variation of this and you can listen to a kind of heterophony. Okay? The scale tone is the same, but I made a kind of variation. You can listen a kind of heterophony. And the pentatonic and the trio, sometimes originally most of Korean music was based on the pentatonic scale, but sometimes the tritonic scale or quadratonic scale. Two tones are omitted in pentatonic scale. So, we call this Pyeongjo. We call it Gaemyeonjo. Some scholars say the Pyeongjo is very similar to Western major, and Gaemyeonjo is very similar to Western minor. But your face, to me, is very the same. No, it's a little bit. Different, right? You don't feel. Say feel. You feel, right? No. Silence is gold. And the breath tempo. As you know, the Western music, European music, the tempo of European music is based on pulse, heart movement. But Korean traditional music is based on respiration, the movement along. So, in the Joseon dynasty, one beat is 3 seconds. It's just one beat. Can you imagine that? Very slow, but for Korean people at the time, there is moderate tempo. You know, around the 17th century, there were 3 kinds of music in Korea, especially by the literati. First one is Mandeo, it's very slow. And second one is Jungdeo, moderate tempo. And last one is Sakdeo, fast tempo. Now only the music of Sakdeo is remained, transmitted. But the slowest tempo of Sakdeo is per minute 20 beats, you know. Can you imagine that? But they call that at the time Sakdeo. In this case, can you imagine the tempo of Jungdeo? And the tempo of Mandeo. Can you imagine that? No. I cannot imagine also. Downbeat start and the upbeat cadence. Most of Korean tradition start downbeat start and upbeat cadence. It is complete, relatively different from Western music or European art music. European art music usually start upbeat start and downbeat cadence, like Beethoven's Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich so beatnik am Abenduntermut. Ich liebe. This is straight. But Korean music, for example, 박연포포, 박연포포 흘러, 박연 downbeat, 박연, please applaud. Who was in that good? I think it's a very good thing, right? 박연포포 흘러 내리는 무릎은 like this. And Korean 시조, I know last December, the very famous Korean singer Moon came to here and sang his song 시조. 동참, 동참, down this start. 동참, I think my singing is better than his, right? Anyone need my signature? And short consonant is a long vowel in the vocal music. Consonant is short, should be pronounced very short, like this. 동참, 동참, 동, 동. 박연, 박연, 영롱바오. 동참, 롱바오. Short consonant. Rhythmic pattern we call the Jangdan. Especially Korean Jangdan make a kind of musical dot. The Korean music started by the dot, by the vector, one tick, and then music started through ticks, music finish. So I call it musical dot, a kind of musical dot. So we can find some kind of beauty between the musical dot that's very beautiful curved lines. Korean paintings, Korean architecture, and Korean sculpture, most of those boast of all kind of beautiful curved line in the Jangdan, or very beautiful curved line you can find, and the Sokura in Jangdan, you can find very beautiful curved line. And the Korean music also boasts of very beautiful curved line. From low tone to high tone, we do play or we do sing like this. No, Korean singer, all high tone to low tone, or sometimes, okay, let's practice. If you do this well, you really enjoy Korean tradition music. Okay? Repeat. A minus. I say that sometimes you can find a 3-tone scale. In Jeongak area, 3-tone scale is very common. Make very beautiful cover line. Okay. He is the real gentleman. So, now here is your blackboard. Now practice again. Repeat. No, do not shake your head. Some gentlemen or ladies they shake their head. No. Okay. Okay. Let's divide from this side. You first. Okay. D minus. You should have started next year. Okay, D part. Yeah. G2 minus. All together. Yeah. What is return? We can make music. Because of these beautiful chord lines, we can enjoy Korean tradition music. Okay, repeat me. Okay, no. Hot music and folk music make this kind of beautiful chord line, but very differently. How do you say that? Calm and dynamic in Korean traditional music, the aesthetic ideology of Jeongak is deeply based on the Confucian musical thought. You know, in the discourses of the Confucius, there is a very famous phrase on music. It means music should be enjoyable, but not immoderate. And music should be sad, but not tragic. It's a kind of quote, right? That is the Confucius musical thought. So Korean tradition, especially Korean Jeongak, the philosophy of Korean Jeongak, is based on this Confucius musical philosophy. It asks to control the musical feeling when Jeongak is performed. Because of that, naturally, Jeongak asked control musical feeling. Naturally, Jeongak produced musical beauties of calmness or serenity. Some traces of Confucian musical ideology can be found in Minsogak as well. However, Minsogak expresses musical emotion very freely and produces dynamic musical beauties when it is performed. Okay, let's compare. Just before, we practiced some kinds of beautiful musical chord line, right? Let's try again. Repeat. This kind of vibrato is you can find this kind of vibrato in folk music, but in court music or literati music, the amplitude of the vibrato is very narrow and regular. For folk music, so for the Shijo, 동참, very narrow people, 동참, if you sing, this is like this, 동참 index, no, that's not Shijo. And for folk music, 아리랑 리랑 알라디가 난데 시적 동창 알가 가곡 is a kind of Korean traditional art song. 동창 look at my lip. Very small movement. 동창 small movement. But folk music 아리랑 슈슈 판소리 쑥대머리 귀신이 용. If some singer sing like this, 쑥대머리. Oh, this is not 판소리. This is kind of a Jeongak style, right? 쑥대머리 대 make a covered line. 쑥대머리 귀신이 형용 정마우곡방의 찬자리에 for literati music 동창이 Can you differentiate? Especially, these two things can be easily differentiated between Jeongak and Minsogak, folk music. Especially rhythmic pattern Jangdan. For the folk music, the Jangdan style, Jangdan pattern, make many kinds of variation, even for one piece. But for literati music or court music, no variation at all. For Jangdan is only small or few variation. For example, you can listen to Korean court music, very famous court music, Dae-Cheol. After this, the tango player like make musical note like this. All this rhythmic pattern, okay? Repeat again, the same stuff. But for court music, especially for pansori and sanjo, the drama can make any kind of variation. Only the first part of the music, the drama, played for the basic pattern, and then based on his or her ability, the performers can make so many kinds of variated rhythmic pattern, Jangdan. First calmness or serenity in Jeongak and dynamics of merrymaking in Minsogak can be compared to Apollonean and Dionysian characteristic European art music. But this is my personal opinion, not objective opinion by all Korean musical scholars. This is my personal opinion. Because of this difference, all the beauties we call the melodic lines, musical dust, and the harmony between beauty we call the melodic lines and the musical dust produced by these two genres of music are distinguished. We practice this one, right? We practice the beauties of we call the melodic line, like this. Especially strong tension and release make harmony between stage and the audience are dynamically produced in the performance of folk music. between the audience and stage, there are special kind of communication. You know, the drama for Hansori or drama for Sanjo sometimes saying like this, oi, tochi, like this. This kind of saying we call chuimse. But if the audience agreed to the player and the audience thinks the play was so good or the song was so good, in that case, audience can do this. For example, this is 중노래 장단 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 beat, and listen carefully. Can you do that? But very careful. You learn this kind of tunes and remember that and you go to the concert hall and to play the canteen and about to read, oh, in that case it's no good. During the performance or about 3/4 part of the Jangdan. It is okay to make tunes. 의, 좋지, 옳지, etc. Also, audience and drama can do this. Okay, let's practice. 의, repeat. 의, 좋지, 옳시구, 좋다, 박연 팍팍 흘러 내리는 물은 험사정으로 간다라 든다. 에이, 안 좋다. 오케이, 경고 분다요. 에이야, 얼얼얼 거리고 방아로다. 남문을 열고 파루를 치니 계명산철이 밝아온다. Why did I say you don't only to my vocal technique. But before cutting that cold, my voice was more beautiful than this. He said I started my music career as a choir boy. Now, we are listening to music, please. Differentiate to different elements. First, you are listening to Dae-Cheol. The meaning of this section is long life as everlasting as the sky. After listening to this music, you will have to have long life as the sky. Is it good? Yeah. If you were born before 20th century, you could not listen to this music. This music was only for royal family. Do you know why I chose this piece, the first piece of listening? Because I think all of you, my king and my peace. Musical job. Use grammar, two grammar. Narrow vibrato. Korean I was a pity player. Can you able to beautiful chord line? The history of this piece was about 1,300 years old, the age of this piece. This was created in the Dae-Cheol dynasty. You know the Jeongak style. I think Korean people know, Korean gentlemen know Jeongak. It is concerned with the Jeongak. You can hear the drum sound vary the beat or the same pattern. It has not to anything. I'd make a lot of money. Okay, I worked upon my AKS as director of the Global Forum on Civilization and Peace. For the international participants, I prepared a Korean traditional music concert, and the first piece I chose this one also. I think a Korean gentleman know the Dr. Park Dong-sun. She worked in Paris. At the time, Dr. Park Dong-sun was there, and she asked me, Dr. Sheen, yes, when some kinds of concert groups were sent to Europe or America or some other place, please send this kind of music. This is real classical one. The suggestion is a very classical one, and I like the suggestion very much. And the next one, you can listen to one of the representative is folk instrumental ensemble, Sheen. It came from the shaman music. A kind of dynamic power and melody. You can feel it. And Sorry. Korean philosopher Dae-Cheol. The title of this piece is Jeongak. It means high-ranged soloist. You can feel a kind of serenity or calmness in this piece. No? Okay, next one. Folk solo piece. Memory from Sanjo. The style is quite different, right? Now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can hear twinge. Okay, we'll go into the vocal music. Prelude. I like this text so much. Windy and stormy, rain, cats and dog. We have an appointment to meet tonight. But if we have this bad weather, it will be real karma between you and me. By finishing well, I can make it a kind of appointment. Time is a little over. Let's go to the next piece, the last piece. Very famous song, love song from Pansori Chunyanga. Love is the most beautiful thing in the world, right?
예, 준양아, 우리 옷 좀 놀아보자. 아이, 도련님도 험한 소리도 다 오시오. 먹고 놀다 미끄러운 장판방에 넘어지는 짓을하고 그러시오. 네가 무슨 말일까? 먹고 놀다 넘어지면 넘어지는 죄하고 그 말 누가 할 건데냐? 도련님이 준양을 업고 노는디 둥둥 내 사랑 둥둥 내 사랑 사랑이로나 내 사랑이로다 엄마도 내 사랑이야 전하일 때그 내 사랑 만고천 때그 내 사랑
Okay, tonight I introduced two aesthetic aspects of Korea in Korean traditional music. Can you differentiate the two factors? Okay, let's practice once more. For folk music, repeat. For court music, okay. Okay, A+. I hope we enjoy this kind of musical practice in Korean traditions after this lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We will have some time for questions if there are any questions.
Short question will be
Short questions.
welcome. The location will be most welcome.
감사합니다. I really enjoy. One question. As everybody would know, these days is kind of a trend. What would you think of kind of fusion music? I mean, blending Korean music with Western.
Yes, it's a very difficult question.
What's the
Personally, all human civilization was created through fusion, right? My mother taught me, my father taught me, my brother taught me, my teacher taught me, and in my head, so many kinds of fusion. Right? From that fusion, everything, especially the mental civilization, were made. But personally, Korean traditional music nowadays, some young Korean traditional musicians like to compose fusion style music and play fusion style music. But personally, one thing should be improved in that fusion music because many of Korean traditional musicians straight go into Western style fusion music. So sometimes they lose characteristics of Korean traditional style. In that point, I do not agree with nowadays Korean traditional fusion music. Is it okay? But it's only my personal opinion.
More question?
I really enjoyed the lecture.
Thank you.
I have a question that in Korea you introduced the folk music of the Namdo area.
Come, must be going around.
You introduced mostly as folk music into Namdo style and
Yes.
other music.
Yes.
They have that really big contrast of the curves. So I recognize Jeongak music similar to Jeongak, but the music that the instruments make, like violin or things, those kind of instruments actually have a lot of curves that they are not in Jeongak. So it's like
Okay.
so I was a bit confused because
It's okay.
the singing in the area is similar to Jeongak, but the music, when it goes to folk music, is similar as elsewhere, have lots of different kind of,
Yeah, she asked me I took an example from the Namdo area folk music like Gangnam, Jindo area, but I also say Jeongak style music. This is Jeongak style. But some Korean traditional music, the folk music is very different from each area. For example, Jeollado area folk style and 경상도의 folk style, 경주 area folk style, all 방해도 피아노 we call shodo area folk style is different. But the basic concepts of musical feeling is same. For example, in shodo area, 방해도 piano area, they use nasal tone. Like this. If we sing this in what music, low, ritual music, in the case, no. And 경상도 area, you know, with the middle area, 날 좀 보고서, 날 좀 보고서, 날 좀 보고서, very different from Talat area. Different, but also the musical feeling is also different from folk music or ritual music. Also, you asked about the Gyeonggi style, you know. Sometimes the Gyeonggi style, the scale of the Gyeonggi style is a little similar to the Literati music of Jeongak. But singing style and playing style is quite different also as well. Okay?
Question?
Hello. Was there any instruments that were gender specific, or were they all unisex that men? Were any of the instruments gender specific, or would men and women play both with the instruments like that? The instruments. Were they gender specific? Only men would play certain instruments, and only women would play.
No.
So
No.
they would switch out. Okay.
Equality. Equality of gender. But the one thing I would like to say about is for Cabo, Literati vocal music, only the female singer appeared in the 19th century. Also, the pan-story female singer also was appeared in the 19th century. Really the same. And any other question?
You've run out of time, I think. So if
Thank
you
you
have
so
the
much.
questions when we finish, you can come and ask it. Our next lecture will be on Tuesday, February the 12th, when Mr. Dongjin Kim will talk to us about Homer Holberg, one of the early missionaries and educators here in Korea, very famous. And Dongjin has devoted his whole life to research about him and admiration of him and talking about him. And this should be very interesting coverage of the life of Homer Holberg. You know, he came back to Korea in 1949 and died within a week of exhaustion. He was over 80 at that time. So he's buried here in Seoul, where his grave says, "I'd rather be buried in Korea than in Westminster Abbey."